Hello Aries friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aries February 2022 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Click on the little more button with the arrow to the bottom right of this video later on when you're done listening to reveal the links to show you how to get information about chart readings, how to get access to free courses, how to see my books, and also how to learn astrology with me. And all of the free goodies that I give you each month, you can see what the deal is with that in the link below this video. Okay, so if you are an Aries sun or an Aries rising like me, or if you have an Aries moon or Venus or Mercury, whatever you watch for, what we're going to talk about in this video is part of your astrological truth. Astrology is complex and we are so much more than just our sun sign. That's one of my major missions, is to help you see that about yourself and help you to look at those different layers of your being to be in your highest expression and have your best possible life. That is my focus for you. So let's take a look at what is going on here in February. I will tell you right off the bat that we do have a very chill month compared to the months that we've had for a long time and the months that we have coming. We have a lot less actual aspects, a lot less planetary connections this month than we usually do. It's just the stars are less busy. We're not in an eclipse season. We're kind of in a lull there where, you know, the retrogrades are phasing out over the month, and we've got sort of a hybrid month where part of it's retro, part of it's direct. We'll go into a lot of detail about that. So it's just sort of a rare time where, you know, it's just like, get to catch our breath. Now, of course, we don't know if that's going to be true for each individual, because how the stars directly hone into your personal chart can trump whatever the general astrology is, but that's what we can speak about here is the general astrology, so we'll look at the must-knows. So the first thing that I want to talk about has to do with this extended Capricorn spree, why we're having it and what it means for Aries. And then also look at the Aquarius transits, including that new moon, to see who will get extra goodies from that new moon, and look at the blessings that come from that nice angle. There's also a full moon in fellow fire signs, so we'll look at the possibilities there and see who gets extra goodies. And we'll give a little brief mention about Jupiter moving through the 12th house. It is a short but very potent transit, and it's important to understand what's going on there. Then I've got a beautiful colored calendar display of a sneak peek from January through April of 2022 to help you understand the energies of February better and how to use them. It's easier to understand the energies on either side and to place what's going on in February. Also, it's important to see how the many different influences of this first quarter of the year are weaving together, and talk about this first open period, and I think the best and only one of two open periods that we have this year, because the latter part of the year we're going to have Mars retrograde, which is especially poignant for Aries placements because we're ruled by Mars. But in any case, we only have two open periods free from personal planet retrogrades this year. So we are going to talk about that, and then we've got a big celebration. We've just been getting shell-shocked from the outer planets making mischievous configurations. We've been feeling this for a couple of years very strongly, and now finally we have two outer planets making a beautiful connection. So we're going to talk about the dates, talk about the goodies that can come from that, and so that's the order of what we're going to do. First thing on the list is these Capricorn placements. So the reason why we have so much Cap energy in February, which is unusual, right? Because the sun goes into Cap at the end of December, it phases out at the end of January, sometimes there's another planet there, moves along. But because Mercury went retrograde and touched into Capricorn, it's still lingering there. Because Venus was in retrograde in Capricorn, just recently direct here at the beginning of February, that's still in Capricorn. And now for the first time in over 2 years, Mars is in Capricorn. So there's a sustained focus for everybody, but especially for Aries, because remember, Aries has a natural chart. So whenever a sign is aspected in the zodiac, it's also falling into the house that relates to that sign. So everything is extreme, everything's to the nth degree, everything is more intense and more whatever it is, right? So anytime we're talking about Capricorn energies, we're also talking about 10th house energies. And for Aries people, that's happening at the same time. And that is a square to Aries placement. So what is happening here is there's pressure on your work. December, January, February into March, there's pressure. Aries handles pressure very well in general though, right? We kind of thrive on it sometimes. We know how to manage and direct it, which is great. But do know your work and career sector is definitely having a pressure point, and it could be a really good thing, because if you're trying to build something in the backdrop to launch into the world, or you're trying to revise your business and improve your business, it looks like you're working a lot on your work and career. If you're an employed or, interested in employment, business and those kind of things are really, really coming front and center. You're going to feel the pressure, but you're going to pull through. And when you do, you're going to feel so good, because the things that you get in place with all of this hard work and discipline, they're going to be very long lasting. So you're going to set some things up for yourself for a long time with the work that you're doing now. And if you're planning a big launch, then it's perfect. And we'll talk about the launch dates and the ranges of time later. We've got a nice open window coming. But here for January, most of February, you can be planning whatever you're wanting to burst out, doing stuff in the backdrop, and it will align perfectly for you. And then as the planets start moving along out of that placement, the pressures will start to cease and everything will flow a lot better. And then we'll move into the Aries time and all will be good. So if you're not employed or don't want to be employed, or money or work out in the world isn't important to you, the ways that these energies can manifest can be about your like what you're doing and what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing, and possibly taking what your old career was, like let's say you're retired, what your old career was, and doing something with it now where your focus isn't money, it's just the joy of doing it. Or if you are financially independent and you don't need to earn money, this can be the energy of like bringing something out into the world, like a book or a memoir or a children's book, or something that is like something that you want to offer the world that may or may not be linked to finances or employment. So it's still that energy. And this is very much for Aries a very defining time. There are a lot of questions going on, like, what am I? Who am I? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And that is very, very, very relevant. And many Aries will be feeling that. Is the current path that you're on the one that you want to take? Do you want to add something into the side to be shoring up your options? Are you trying to phase out of something and need to start building something else? A lot of that is going to be going on, and a lot of networking and internet-based projects and groups and connections are going to be opening up for you. And this could center around education. Either you're teaching and then there's where the group is involved, or you're learning, so you become part of a group because you're, part of a school or part of, a class or something like that. Friendships, networking, your tribe, your internet-based projects, humanitarian efforts are all being brought into focus by these Aquarius placements. So even though the Capricorn placements are pressure ones, these Aquarius placements are easy. They're this beautiful angle with your Aries placement where, friendships and people coming from the past and new friendships and new acquaintances can really just start leading you to more and more of what you want in your life. And that can be very exciting. So everyone will get kisses from this new moon on February 1st at 12 degrees of Aquarius. Do note that there is a closeness with Saturn to this new moon. So there is something either a little bit harsh or very excitingly manifesting about this new moon, where Saturn could be bringing or gelling something long term into your life at this time, and that could be part of what comes in. Those of you who are the last few days of March and the first few days of April, and the closer you are to 12 degrees, the more you'll get the kiss from that Aquarius new moon. And if you don't know your degrees and you want to know your degrees, finally, I've been able to get this going for my email community. If you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, right front and center, you just put your name and email address, sign up for my email newsletter, you'll get a welcome letter. Look for it in spam or social folders or whatever. Sometimes it goes there, but in that welcome letter, you'll have the access information of the page to run your chart. You can run your chart, look at your degrees. You can come back and listen again and use all of these juicy details that I give you in more deep ways. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to help you be able to go deeper. Okay, so the next big thing to celebrate and big must know is that we have a Leo full moon. Leo is a fellow fire sign, so anything that goes on in those fire signs is really energizing to us. So this brings your creativity alive. So in the middle of the month, February 16th, but we feel it in the days before, we feel it in the days after very strongly. Sometimes people can't sleep well, if they're, moony. just expect to be sort of revved up. Things involving children or creativity, something you've been trying to do with your kids for a long time could be gelling. Maybe you're trying to take them somewhere or do something with them, or you know, put something through for them. A creative project, something romantic with your partner, or new romance, or someone else, you know, coming back into your life from the past. All of those things are very much highlighted by this Leo full moon. So look out in the middle of the month for juiciness with those types of things. Everyone in the Aries spectrum can get the goodies, but those of you who are in the later degree spectrum, the closer to 27 degrees, the more of, you know, an exact hit you're going to get, and the more chance for very notable, awesome outcomes. So we'll say 22 to 23 degrees through the rest of the sign. And those birthdays are going to be like April 14th or so through the rest of the sign. And the closer you are to like about to switch over into Taurus, the more this is going to really gel, this full moon. All right, so another must know is, let's just talk a little bit again about Jupiter in Pisces, which is also Jupiter in the 12th for you. And Jupiter rules Pisces rules the 12th house. So like I said, this is all, you know, double for Aries. This is a time when your intuition and your inner world and the richness of your inner world is going to come alive in wonderful ways if you slow down enough and take the time to let it. That's something really beautiful about the fact that we are in the midst of a very solid retrograde cycle for a lot of this Jupiter movement through Pisces. And for the beginning part of it, it's like, it's a very internal, where you're working on something in the backdrop. I like to call it the energy of quiet personal pursuits. You know, it's like, it's a little mission or something that you're doing, or artistic endeavors, or something you're studying, or something you're envisioning, or something you're creating. Or maybe it's just peace and relaxation and quiet and taking a break from all of the ways that Aries live, right? We're pretty full throttle all the time. So Jupiter in Pisces is a little bit of a change of pace here, because it slows everything down. It brings it to the backdrop. It helps you to review your priorities. It helps you to look over the last 12 years and see the types of things that you've been doing and focusing on, and to see what kind of things you want to be part of your next 12-year cycle. Because once Jupiter gets into Aries in May, whoa, everything's going to go like lightning speed and expand in crazy ways, and, you know, for the rest of the year and then even into 2023. So this is like a rest period before the big push. This is the getting clarity and certainty period before you push into your new area. And it's a time to try some things on. You know, this December, January, February, it's like you're feeling into things, you're researching them, you're looking into them, you're trying to see, there's something with your direction and your purpose that's wanting to gel here. Some of it can be an expansion of what you're already doing and you're taking that to the next level. Some of that could be, or it could be, you're starting like the fingerprint of a new something is coming in and you can't quite read what it is, but little clues are starting to come and you're working with them in the backdrop. Your intuition will be off the roof, and getting re-engaged with your intuitive faculties is one of the big opportunities of this time. So really, really utilize this. If you're feeling drawn to be quiet and more rest, then just follow it. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes when these things happen, Aries people think, God, I'm not myself. What's wrong with me? I feel weird. I don't know what's going on. But it's really just getting some balance back into your inner world from all of the activity in your outer world. Okay, so we are going to go into the calendar with this beautiful visual where you can see January through April and see how everything dovetails, talk about the retrograde energies and the direct energies and when to do what, so that you have the full benefit of the tides going out for your out things and your tides going in for your in things, and we'll get all of that straight. And then we'll go into details about Jupiter making this beautiful aspect with the planet Uranus and what that could look like for you. Okay, so to better understand the energies of February and how to use them, it will be very helpful to understand the energies that are surrounding February and running our compare and contrast. And plus you get a sneak peek into the whole full first quarter of 2022. So we're going to check this out. I'll give you details about this as it relates to the energies of retrograde and direct, and then we'll hit our retrograde direct list so that you can see what types of activities to align in what location on our calendar here. Okay, so here we are in February. Now, just to give a little backdrop, January we had Mercury go retrograde on January 14th. That shadow period had started in the last couple of days of December. So essentially all of January is full of retrograde energy. All right, Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, didn't go direct till the end of the month. Now, we still are having a carryover of that energy into February, because even though Mercury is direct right here at the beginning, it doesn't clear out of its post-shadow period until the 24th. This is what I mean about this hybrid energy, because the energy after the 24th is more in the direct energy, and then that just steamrolls and gets stronger on the 2nd of March when the energies become more completely clear, and we open into our first open launch period and our first of only 2 open launch periods of the whole year. Now we'll come back to this calendar, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the retrograde and direct energies to help you understand. January and for most of February, we've been in Retroville, okay? So this is a time when things are going inwards and backwards. The tides are coming in. If you're trying to put something out onto the water, into the world, the tides are going to just roll it right back in. So it's better to just deal with what comes up. I always like to say, be the spider and eat the food that comes to you instead of trying to go out and find a bunch of food or, weave a bunch of webs and push and, make things happen. This is a time that, although the energies are strong with Capricorn energy in January and February, which is good for getting stuff done, it's still better for dealing with the things you have to deal with that have piled up, that, clearing out the clutter, doing your taxes, researching things for the future, wrapping up loose ends. You'll have a lot of focus towards tedious tasks, but that doesn't mean you should be trying to push them out very far. You just kind of deal with them as they come up. It can lend itself to a little confusion because with the retrogrades, things get called into question. So for most of February, we still have some things possibly being called into question, especially that first half. And it's a time really to just honor the flow. If you're trying to do something and it's not working, don't force it, and you'll have a much happier relationship with the retrogrades. So it's a time to be in the moment and just, leave room for last minute magic. But basically leave yourself unscheduled as possible in your circumstance to leave room for this last minute magic. Okay, so just to go back now, this retro that we talked about, this is all of January and pretty much the first half of February, with it starting to wane after the second half of February as we get towards February 24th. But then once we get into February 24th and being triumphantly reiterated as we get to March 2nd, and then very strong from March 2nd through April 27th, is the big open time for launches. So let's look at what that means. So that is the direct energy. Direct in this instance is talking about no personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars are the personal planets that go retrograde. And we have another retrograde year here because we've got Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. So we've only got another time, part of June, all of July, part of August, that will be completely free from personal planet retrogrades. And of those 2 windows, this window, this March 2nd through April 27th window is even more strong for launches than that June through August one, because we've got all these Aries energies that will be coming up in March. And that is really good for bursting things out into the world. So here's where you want to do your big launches, your big life dream decisions, get your book out, engagements, weddings, marriages. Spring is, or fall for you all down under, is a lovely time for weddings. And this is a really fantastic time in the stars. Agreements, commitments, investments, moves, brand new projects, having clarity, future planning, and to push, initiate, and even force sometimes. If you have to push through something within yourself, it's much easier to push things out into the world when the tides are going out, as they will be towards the end of February. Okay, so once we get around Valentine's Day, February 14th, things are starting to look pretty clear. We still have another 10 days of the haze until we get it completely clear. And then we still have a little lingering energy of Venus, Venus, of course, ruling love, beauty, money. I went into those energies at, fully in the November, December, January horoscopes, and you can search for Botticelli Venus retrograde to understand that more. But that's very, very important to understand. Okay, so while we've got our calendar here, let's just hit a couple of more points. Eclipse season is going to start mid-March because it starts around 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse, which in this case actually is April 30th. And then there's one in May as well. These are the Taurus-Scorpio eclipses. And so those types of, big changes, the anxiety, the butterflies, the feeling like your finger's stuck in a socket, we've got a break here in February from that. Because even though we can see eclipse news or eclipse-related news come in at any time during the years of the eclipse cycle, they tend to heat up in the 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse. So this February time is really nice in that way, that we are free of the heat of eclipse season. And actually, February is one of the most non-eventful astrological months of the whole year. We've, a lot of times we've got a lot of things going on. In February, we have a little bit less. So it's just kind of, it's a hybrid in the way that it's, retrograde for part and direct for part. But we don't have as many planets clashing. We don't have any of the big negative planet clashes that we've been having. And actually, we have a super positive one, which we're going to talk about more after this. But I just want to show you the dates on the calendar here. Mid-January through mid-March, this Jupiter sextile Uranus aspect. Now, we've been getting shellacked by outer planets connecting in a difficult way. When outer planets come together, it's very powerful and have very strong lasting effects for everybody. And the aspects usually last for a long time because those planets are slower moving. So we only have one pass of this Jupiter-Uranus beautiful kiss. And the strongest part of it will be here, February 17th through the 21st. But the whole month before and after, the energies are very strong. So let's talk about what the blessings and potential positive effects of the Jupiter-Uranus connections will be. Okay, let's drill down into the exciting transit of Jupiter sextile Uranus. As we've been talking about, we have been having a lot of difficulties with the outer planets, these slower moving planets that once they come into a configuration, they stay in it for a while. Except that has been very heavy because the configurations that have been happening over the last couple of years have been consistently difficult. But now we have a beautiful period where we've got the outer planets, two of them, Jupiter and Uranus, Jupiter in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, coming together in this fabulous combination. So we're going to talk about some things that go on as positive potentials. But let's first look at what we're looking at here. So here is the planet Uranus. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Pisces. This meeting is actually going to occur at 11 degrees. Okay, so once Jupiter moves to the 11 degree of Pisces position, it will lock in place into a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that a 60-degree angle is the opportunity angle. It's the ingredients on a counter angle where we're presented with a bunch of different options to make beautiful meals in our lives. That's a figurative and possibly literal as well. But we have to do something with it. So this is a time where you have to really look for, sometimes it will be apparent, but you have to look for and do something with the potentials, and then you can activate this expansion of Jupiter, the intuition, and artistic, connectedness to all things of Pisces, the emotional high, EQ, and this Uranus, the innovation and surprises and sudden insights and sudden events in this grounded energy of Taurus, meaning the very unstable energy of Uranus is able to be much more manifested into form, which is a hard thing to do with Uranus. It's very fleeting. So the combination of the solidness of the earth placement, the really just innovative and futuristic energies of Uranus, combined with this beautiful, emotional, intuitive, expansive energy. So anything that combines all of those energies, there will be lots of opportunities. Now, the dates that are most active are February 17th through the 21st. This is the big day when the official degree and minute line up, but they're still matching at 11 degrees through this time, from February 17th to February 21st. But from all of mid-January, and sensitive people could feel it a little sooner, even beginning of January, possibly even sooner, but certainly mid-January through mid-March. And again, sensitive people, if you're looking out, you might see those effects kind of drizzling in later. But we've definitely got a 2-month period where this energy is very strong and very usable. So we could discover the power of rest and quiet revealing itself in wonderful ways through sudden insights, problem solving, awarenesses of the past, dips into the future. In this particular configuration, daring to do something different can yield very positive results. Now, I'm not talking about, and here we can kind of talk about this, indulging in a crazy idea can work out big time. We're not talking about super reckless, very dangerous things necessarily, unless intuitively there's something very specific in that for you. But in general, this is something with like a calculated risk. That Taurus energy with the Uranus really likes that calculated risk, but just having the daringness to do something different. And that's very subjective. So you doing something different, can feel like a big deal to you, this thing you're going to do. But someone else might not think twice about doing that particular thing. So it's a relative experience, but it could work out really well. Taking a step away from an issue or a pattern could reveal sudden life-changing insights and outcomes. So that's this, Jupiter and Pisces, where we're expanding that quiet space. I like to call it the space of private personal pursuits. And then anything artistic in nature, finding your voice with your art, stepping into art for the first time, expanding the artistic endeavors you have. Artistic endeavors can take on more special significance at this time. And any psychological or other inner work can actually expand even further and include sudden healings of addictions, fear, or anxiety. Now, just to, be very raw here, as humans, we're probably never going to be completely free of fear, right? But the patterns and the addictive pattern of feeling when we have to be afraid, we could have some major impact here, including perfect practitioners that come in, modalities that come in that can be helpful, or our sudden and clear commitment to use tools to help us to calm down when we get anxious. Tools like EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. There are so many tools you can look for, tools to clear fear, tools, self-help for anxiety. And of course, if it's very extreme and you need help, then this might be a time where you can find someone that can really help you. And innovation and intuition commingling in powerful ways. So this is just a really magical time full of promise, with that little note, though, the little footnote that says, but hey, it's a sextile, so you might actually have to do something with those possibilities that are surrounding you to activate their full glory. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband. You can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!